we have a fabulous speaker. She is talking about tech with a heart, repurposing big tech skills for grassroots impact. If you haven't had a chance to check out the GHCI app, I'm just reminding you all to download it, please. Okay? So, this next session takes us back to purpose. Why we build, who we build for, and what our skills can mean beyond our job descriptions. As a small child, she dreamt of going to the US, and when she had it all in the US, left it the same dream to chase something bigger, a bigger purpose in life. Engineer turned social entrepreneur with experience at Meta and Microsoft. She's led infrastructure projects powering billions of users, founded the Polygon, how do you say it, Chand? Polygon, okay, Foundation to empower rural engineering students. In a few months of inception, she's recognized by the Nudge Social Incubator to scale Polygon's mission, builds hands-on learning ecosystems in smaller towns. Please welcome our very young speaker today, Chandana Shivanand.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, Kavita. If you had asked me a couple years ago, you would quit your job at Meta and come back to India and start your non-profit, I would have said, not at this age. Definitely not at this age. Before I tell you all what exactly this journey looked like to me, I want to ask a couple of questions to this room. How many of you here are first generation students or graduates? Okay, quite a few. How many of you dreamt of working for big tech companies? Google, Meta, anything that you can name. Okay, quite a lot. How many of you are still figuring things out? It's okay. I was there at all three. Very honestly, I was there at all three. At age 22, as Kavita mentioned, I moved to the US with 2 full suitcases and just one-way flight ticket to the United States. With very simple thought in my mind, you need to study hard, get a job, and make your parents proud. Yeah, like a small town girl, like that's what I wanted to do at that point of time. But I grew up in a family where society said, why do you want to send a girl that far? Get her married. If you want to send someone, send the boys. Why the girl? But my parents never listened to those scripts. In fact, they were the one who told me, go, the world is bigger out there, you need to go. Somewhere between their courage and my curiosity, I left India. Fast forward to a few years, that younger version of me had achieved everything that I wanted. Reputed masters from a reputed university, then big brands like Meta, Microsoft, and my resume. On day jobs, I've been working at backbone network infrastructure, which keeps billions of us online. Have you noticed what exactly like the network infrastructure is? You won't see it while you're scrolling Instagram or texting on WhatsApp. If something breaks, for sure you will notice. It was like a perfect fairy tale moments for me. Everything I wanted in life, reputation, money, or recognition, all of it was there. But there was something that was keep pulling me back again and again. Social impact. From a very young age, from my time in India and all the way to my life in the US, I was always drawn towards social impact. Whenever I get time, I used to work for organizations on charity missions in the education sector. And I also kept promising myself that one day when I retire, I will work on it full time. But this calling became louder and louder last year. What does that one day means? Having more money in your bank account, having more degrees, what does it mean? What do you mean by when you retire? Like, I couldn't answer that question. Very honestly, though everything looked perfect on the slides in my life, I couldn't answer that one simple question. With that, what I did is something doesn't make sense on paper. I walked away. I left the dream, I had built it from scratch. I quit my job at Meta last year in September. I moved back to India. And if you think it is just my story, no. My husband, Prajwal, he is here, He had the similar story. He worked at Oracle as a tech lead, and he quit his job too to follow the same passion. We both moved back to India, worked on the ground to figure things out. Okay, what can we actually do here? How can we utilize the skills we have? So with that, Polignan Foundation was born in February of this year, which is a Section 8 nonprofit company. Thank you. For me, the India means two diverse perspectives. One, in the slides in the US boardrooms, India, the next emerging market, India, the next youth capital, or next billion users. Don't we think India is very ambitious on one side? And on the other side, it was a completely different reality. Very honestly, completely different reality. India being one of the largest producers of engineers in the world, 1.5 million graduates every single year. And in that, only 10% of them actually get relevant jobs, 10%. 30 to 40% get into gig working, delivery jobs, low-paying jobs. Almost 50% of them remains unemployed. Imagine 50%, and we are talking about one of the so-called prestigious degree of India, engineering, right? And that is what we do at Polignan, solving the employability crisis of Indian engineers. Now, like the second part of this talk, I want to take you to, okay, what I learned at Meta, Microsoft, that is helping me scale my impact on the grassroots. There are like 3 different segments, and there is one underlying factor that I want all of us to take away with. The first one, be bold. You might think it's like a personality trait, right? But no, it's more than that. It's a decision framework altogether. We have seen big tech companies take bold decisions. They bet on things that they don't know. Taking an example of Meta, they renamed the company from Facebook to Meta. How many of you know that? Yeah. They bet the entire brand on the future. They invested billions of dollars in AR and VR when people thought it is just a play game. They bought WhatsApp, Instagram when they were tiny. And it felt like overpriced. Today, looking back, it might feel like, oh, it was obvious move. But they did it when nobody else believed in it. When nobody else thought that would be a next big thing. Same thing, like it's not just companies that take big decisions, also the employees that imbibe those culture. For me, throughout my life choices, I've seen like what bold means to me. Leaving my job there, like coming and starting a non-profit, going from crores of salaries to 0, and still having that smile because I chose to follow my heart. So that is what means bold to me personally. But when it comes to Polignan, right? Okay, what should we do about Polignan? Is it the mission statement? It is the program which is bold? No, it is much beyond it. How can we create that ecosystem for students who be part of our journey to have that kind of what I would say as the culture, the boldness in them? So I would want to talk about like one of our program. It's an YouStart entrepreneurship program where we ask students to go to the ground, solve for real users, and earn their first income. How many of you earned your first income while still in college? Yeah, while still in college, like if you have earned your money, yeah, give it up for yourself. Like still in college, you have earned a lot of money there, right? But same thing, that is what we wanted to do here. Give students an exposure, let them be on the ground, let them figure out things. So for us, it was creating that psychological safe space where they can fail, they can try. Unless you fail, unless you rebuild yourself, you're not creating an audacious entrepreneur what this today's generation need. And that is what we wanted to do at Polignan. I'll give you an example of one of our students' fellow story. His name is Benak. He is part of a fellowship and he wanted to go into NITs and IIT, but he couldn't. That's still okay. Being part of the program, being on the ground, he figured out that he has towards like agency, building an agency and scaling digitally all the local ecosystem. And he created an agency called Street MBA, where he started supporting local businesses to scale digitally. And in less than 3 to 4 months, he had 4 to 5 clients working for him. And then he is earning 25,000 rupees per month in his second year of engineering and balancing his academics. There are many students or many graduates out there, even after they're out of college, still Having 25,000 in their pocket is out of reach. And this fellow, he is thinking of like that he will make 1 lakh per month in next couple of months. That is his mission. It is not just about one fellow, like every fellow we have, like they have their own brave story where they took their first step. So for us, it is not about telling them, hey, this is what you want to do, this is how you get a job. No. How do you carve out your own path? How do you be brave? How do you be bold? And go after what you really want to do. And that is what being bold means to us at the impact space. And the second one, system thinking. Let me take you back to October 4, 2021, where Facebook had one of the massive outage in its history. Facebook and its family of apps were down for 5.5 hours. That is roughly 1/4 of the day where you have no connection to WhatsApp, Instagram, or any of those. It was millions of dollars lost for Meta at that point of time. Why I'm taking this example, I was part of the org which caused this outage. And I know how as a company we worked on it. It is not being proud in like breaking things. It is taking the ownership and building afterwards. So entire team worked on it, like they juggled like to get the network back like in less than 5.5 hours. But it wasn't the intense moment. The intense moment were the weeks later where the entire org sat together to figure out, oh, why did the system break? Why did this other system allow it to break? What is the root cause of it? What should we do about it? What can we do so that this doesn't reoccur again? So that was the question we started asking. And then from then on, like we had the perfect action plan, which took from almost like months to a year to rebuild our entire system so we doesn't let this happen once again. It's not about solving an issue at the surface level. It is going deep into the root cause and fixing the system. And that is what we want to take it back to the organization here. So imagine a girl come to me and say, talks to her about her crisis in the family, why she needs this job, and say like, please get me a job. You being in the impact space, you feel intimidated. Yes, I need to help her. I need to refer her. I need to help her get that first job. But what if I still help her get a job, she gets the job, and she gets laid off? Or she herself don't like the job? Can we re-intervene again? Can we help her to get her next job? It's okay, like I can still help her, but how many can I do that? 1, 100, 1,000? But what about the millions unemployed out there? What can we do about it? So it is not that solving for one beneficiary, we wanted to solve it for the next generation. So this is a problem which is hard, which requires multi-dimensional intervention, not at just one layer. So we want to work with students, we want to work with institutions, we want to work with industries. So that is what system thinking means to us, not just an immediate impact that I can see and feel happy about it. It is about going deep to the root cause and fixing it so that the next generation don't have to solve it. It might take time. I'm not saying we will solve this in next 1 to 2 months. It might take time. And not just Polygon alone will not solve this. We are to creating that ecosystem where we partner with government, institutions, industry, and people like you and me here. That is what we want to do. And the next one, data. I know like we all come from corporate or like the tech background. How many of you think it is cold or it is too corporate-y vibe or data obsessed when we think of data? We all have seen in our like lives that unless you design something, if you don't have proper outcome from that, you don't go forward to it. And all the dashboard says what you need to prioritize. You might be very ambitious or passionate about some idea. You go up and down in the meeting room. Still, if the data says otherwise, you don't get to execute it. This is how corporate works. But when it comes to social impact, think of it. It is very easy for us to go along with the positive impression. People are smiling. People said that they are inspired. Does that mean it is actually impacting them? Feelings alone doesn't matter, truly. Feelings doesn't matter. We had to go deeper into it. At Polygon, we take data very seriously. It is part of our DNA. It could be a small program, it could be like an event, it could be an online session. We still consider data with high respect. Think of it like we're a very small online session. We take at what time did student enter the online session? Did they turn on their camera? Did they even interact with the speaker? Did they fill the feedback form? What did that feedback form say? We collect all of it. And sometimes there are like larger programs where we say, oh, this was amazing program. Everyone says you exceeded the expectation. But we still sit back as a team and see, in order for us to achieve this outcome, what could we have done better in saving time, money, and cost? So all of it, efficiency is not just helpful for us, it is something that helps us scale the impact to a larger number of sectors. I'm not trying to make all of this like very corporate-y. I know it might feel like, okay, are you trying to bring corporate structure into the social impact space? Definitely not. Any positive thought like we have should translate into real outcome, or else there is no meaning for us. There is no purpose for us in doing it. It is learning those cultures, learning those values and putting it here so that way we can impact the maximum number of people who needs our support. And the last one, I know, tech with the heart. It is slightly on a foundational layer is what I said, right? When we think of tech from an outside, don't think of it like a technologist. Take yourself out of this. Do you feel it is a magic? Just one app connecting you to billion of people out there? And your message frying continents in milliseconds? And we might think it is our devices, fibers, or like data center servers, all of this. But is it? No. It's the people behind it. It's the people who are scaling it. It is not just one PM, one engineer, one architect. It's army of people. It's the community. And that's what we want at the social impact space. If I say, okay, I will be the hero in the impact space today, I will be the bottleneck pretty soon. And it's also easy to say we need tech to solve bigger problems like this. Of course, tech is a medium, but tech is not the only thing. It is people behind the tech. It is the heart behind those people. It is people like you and me. People who can understand technology, people who can translate technology, and people can be that human change taking the opportunity to the last mile. And that is what community means to us. And community is part of everything we do at Polygon. Startup CEOs takes master classes for our students. Professionals who are sitting across the globe in US, Europe, India, like they're working at Stanford, like Google, Apple, you name it, like they are the one who are coaching our students, who are first generations. And sometimes it's easy to say, okay, we are always on the giving side and they are on the receiving side. No, our students, they don't consider themselves as beneficiaries. They are going to the communities, they're going and they're supporting the communities in way possible, like teaching the next younger generation in government school, supporting orphanages, being part of the communities. And we call it paid forward loop. We don't want anyone to pay it back to us. All our programs are free of cost. We want them to pay it back to the society. I know, if I want to leave this room with one thought, if you are all sitting here, we already are on the privileged side of tech. Don't we all agree? We are on the privileged side. I don't want any of you to quit your jobs. Definitely, that's not my intention. Or move borders. But you can still see, can you be a mentor to your younger version? Can you open doors in your community, in your corporate CSR initiatives, or in your alma mater? Can you create that psychological safe space for next younger generation to build, fail, without any fear? Sometimes, I would say, one of the radical things that can happen in your tech career is not to keep climbing up in the ladder. It is to pause and see who we can lift along the way. With that, thank you so much for listening. I would love to see you all on the other side where tech has a heart. Thank you.
Please stay, Chandana. Just stay. We'll just take one question. Anyone? Do you know how, I mean, your talk was what, 20 minutes? You're all set
15.
for a TEDx talk. It sounded like a TEDx talk to me. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Did you all feel like
you.
that? I mean, you are meant for bigger stages and to inspire a lot more people.
Thank
so we
you.
wish you all the best. And if anyone has a question, ma'am, I mean, how do you feel seeing her, you know? I mean, I had goosebumps. So.
Yes, absolutely. It is so inspiring. I worked in the Bay Area for almost 10 years with companies like Adobe, and now I'm running a foundation.
Oh, that's
focused
very
on-
nice.
And systems change. So So much of what you were saying I could resonate with, and it's truly inspiring that you are doing this at
Thank
this
you,
age.
thank you
It
so much.
really,
Thank
I
you.
think the country is in good hands.
We are just getting started. I would want to bring this one thing at Meta. They always used to have this poster. You're just 1% finished.
two
That means
chairs.
99% of the road ahead is still empty. You need to walk that path. I would still say we are still early in our career. I would love to get all your support, mentorship. It could be your partnership, and love to. If you're a student, definitely would love to catch up and see how we can support you all.
You have a lot of mentors here. Pooja, I think, is a mentor, so you should. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So happy to listen to this. I want to call your session chair, Dia, to give you a little memento. And also, round of applause to her husband. I mean, to decide to come back to India at such a young age, really deserves an applause. Thank you.